Hi everyone, welcome back to Liz's Scrapping Studio. I'm Liz and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So I have been playing around with the paper pumpkin that I received from my starter kit. So Paper Pumpkin is a subscription that you can sign up for through Stampin' Up! And this subscription comes to you once a month, and it will create 9 cards, or sometimes there's other things, but a lot of times there's cards, but sometimes there's crafting ideas. And this is a subscription that you can do monthly, every 3 months, every 6 months, or every 12 months. And so this was part of the starter kit that I got as joining Stampin' Up! And I really love this actual set of papers and embellishments, as well as how colorful they are. These are some of my favorite colors, and so it's been kind of fun to play around with this particular paper pumpkin that I got as part of my consulting kit. So I actually made this card in the middle for my mother for Mother's Day. And so I gave that to her, and I just changed out the sentiment. And I forgot to take a picture, unfortunately. But what I did do is something that will extend this kit beyond just creating these 9 cards. So what I had done when I created the card for my mom is I actually cut this in half, because this card has the print all the way across both the front and the back. And so I decided to extend this kit that I could just use one side of this to create a card base, or to create a card front that I could put on a standard card base. And that way I could extend the kit. So I had half of one of these left. And then I took this one, which is the card that you see here. I took this one, and again, I cut that off. And this has actually just a solid blue backing. So I'm keeping this to make a card front with, but I took the back half, which was just this solid blue, and I am using that to create with. So again, I'm actually going to get a 2-page layout out of just using this panel and the back side of this panel, the blue side of this panel, and I am creating a 2-page layout with cardstock as well as with some embellishments. Now, this particular panel has the flowers down at the bottom and then the clouds up at top. And so the way I cut this was I cut it in half. And then I took this panel, and my second cut is going across this way. And I created a 2-inch cut that showed just the flowers. Then I had another section up here where I did another 2-inch cut. And then I had this top section. So I actually was able to get three 2-inch sections out of this one card front, because this is 6 inches long. So just so that you guys can see that, it's actually a little less than 6 inches. It's 5.5 inches long. But I was able to get 2-inch cuts, and then I had a piece left over at the top. And so so that really worked out well. And then that was the same with the blue. It didn't really matter as much because it was just a solid piece. I didn't have to think about it. But again, I got 2-inch cuts out of that as well. The other thing about this particular pattern is there is, and it's kind of hard to see, but there is some gold that is dotted around those flowers. And so I wanted to emphasize that a little bit in my design. So we're going to see how I did that in just a minute. And also, if you looked at the pieces, the embellishment pieces that came in the kit, you can see there's a lot of gold as well as part of this. So I'm not using any of those currently in this particular layout. All right, so what I did is I took the stamp set, and instead of using the embellishments that came with it, I sort of created my own embellishments. So I created a bunch of stamped images using Sundance and Jade, which are close to my heart colors, because I do not have all of the Stampin' Up! Colors. So I used the colors that I felt would work really well with the flowers and the greens that are there. And so I selected Sundance and Jade, and then I just fussy cutted a bunch of these out. So I stamped them up. I did, obviously, the flower top is in Sundance and Jade is the stem. And I just cut up a bunch of those to use as embellishments, as fussy cuts. I haven't used Pebbled Path yet on this layout. I might come back and do that in a minute. We'll sort of see how it goes, because I did put a design together, but it needs something. It needs a little bit more oomph, and so we may end up using Pebbled Path as a way to get a little bit more dimension on this layout. All right, so the other thing that I used was the gold foiled paper as another way to accent that gold in the flower part of the paper that I cut. All right, so now that we've sort of seen the pieces that I have used, I'm going to go ahead and start putting this together and start working through kind of my thought process and where I was going with this layout. So I'm starting with a white base layer on this particular layout. And what I did with those 2-inch squares that I was talking about is I cut them at a diagonal. So I cut a 2-inch square again across the bottom of the flowers. So I took that, and then I got 4 triangles out of the 3 2-inch squares I was able to get. And then the top half of that one piece of card front that I had left, I was able to get, again, the sky with the flowers, and I was able to get 4 of those. And then the last is the blue, and again, I was able to get enough blues to create these triangles. And again, what I was trying to do is create some little visual interest in the design. That left me with a small sliver of the flower and a small sliver of the blue, and then that bigger sliver of these are blue clouds, a bigger sliver of the blue paper as well that we can use as accents. And then I had a large piece of the blue that was also left. And so I was looking at ways that I could utilize this as well in the layout. And I'm probably going to cut this in half and use it on both sides of the layout. But I really thought it helped accent this title quite well. And so I definitely wanted to use it there. And as you can see, I fussy cut out a bunch of flowers. And then I have the gold that are the 2 1/4-inch squares that these triangles are going to sit on, these diagonal cuts are going to sit on. Down at the bottom, I've got some of the jade paper, and I have done some random stamping on a 1-inch piece of white in the Sundance color using one of the stamps from the stamp set. So again, trying to utilize the stamp set that was part of the kit. So just using these particular flowers. And then I have added a title here that actually came from my titles that were left over from my National Scrapbook Day. So I went through and I saved all of the cutouts that I had left from the way that I created the title on National Scrapbook Day on my 3 layouts. And I came up with this title of Fantastic Time. And I thought that that would be a good generic title that I could use for this particular layout. And then I've got my mats in jade and in Sundance. And then I've got a little tag that I've die cut out of the gold foil paper that I think I'm going to use. So this is my basic layout. And as you can see, I do feel like it's a little bit flat. I don't feel like it has quite enough dimension. And so this is where I'm thinking about what is the best way to add some dimension. And one of the ways that I'm thinking I might end up doing is using the Art of Texture stamp set and using one of these textural pieces to create some depth here in the background. The other way that I could do that is just taking as well the stamp set from the Paper Pumpkin kit and adding the flowers to this background as well, to add some visual interest there. So what I'm going to start doing with that is I'm going to start playing around with that visual interest, because I think I've got pretty much the layout done. So I want to get this all glued down, and then I want to come in and I want to play with that textural interest. So I'm going to go off, I'm going to glue everything down, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to play around a little bit. All right, so I've gotten everything adhered down. And down this left-hand side, I set these at 1/4 of an inch in from the left-hand side, and then I did that same dimension over here on the right-hand side. I went 1/4 of an inch in. This is about 1 3/4 up from the bottom. And then I made sure that I had this side as well, a little bit, leaving a little bit of white down this right-hand side. All right, so the couple of things that I want to do now that I have got these laid out is I'm going to create a journaling block over here. Come down a little bit. We've got a little bit of space there. I don't really want it space-wise to be at the same level or eye level of that picture right there. All right, so now I've got my journaling block and I have got my layout pretty much completed with everything adhered down. So just make sure everything's in frame here. Move some stuff around. My desk is a disaster, as usual. All right, so now we're going to bring in some pieces. So as I said, there were some extra pieces that were part of the kit. So they gave some extra flowers, punch outs, die cuts that you could use for other things. So I'm going to go ahead and punch those out. In addition, what I did as well is I took the stamp set and I created a bunch of ephemera, essentially, from the stamp set. So I stamped these out on just Whisper White. Sorry, getting used to not saying white daisy. Whisper White paper, and stamped them in let's see, Sundance and Jade, and created my own kind of ephemera. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take these larger pieces that we have, and we're going to start with those. So you always start with your largest piece first, and then you work your way down to your smaller pieces. So I've got some that were just sort of these pieces that would fly in the wind. I've got the smaller flower and then the larger flower that was part of the stamp set. So now what I want to do is I want to figure out where I want to put these larger pieces. And so I have 3 of these flowers that I think I want to start with. And I think I'm trying to create a visual triangle as well, so that I can draw the eye from the throughout the layout and then draw the eye over to the right-hand side of this layout as well. So I think I like that one there. And then I'm going to go ahead, I think, and use this one, that one. And I think I need something up in the upper corner up here. Maybe actually, no, I think that's too big. Maybe like that. Okay. I do think that this block needs a little bit of something. This block is kind of boring, so I might actually add some flowers into that block on both sides as well. Just because I think it will help give some interest to this particular block. All right, so now I'm going to come in with some of these smaller pieces, and I'm going to kind of lay these guys out. Now these guys are the little ones, so we're going to just add those, sprinkle those around as well. And what else? Where else can I put one of those guys? Maybe they go another one in this block and in this block. And I think I need maybe I need another one of these up here, like that. All right, so I think I've kind of got my layout of what I want here. I might add another flower down there. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. All right, so this is where now I'm going to start adding, I'm going to use the dimensionals and I'm going to start building these up. So I'm going to start with the big piece on this block over here. And with the dimensionals, you can cut them. I am still using my Close to My Heart scissors because they are non-stick, and that really helps with cutting anything that has adhesive. So those I am not getting rid of anytime soon. But I do want these to have some dimension to them, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that, putting down this first piece. Just trying to decide the angle that I like. And then I can add one more. And again, I'm going to go ahead and pop this guy up as well. I like dimension on my layouts, so I tend to use a lot of dimensionals or foam tape, just because I do like the feeling of dimension on my layouts. Okay, so I'm going to put that piece there, and I need to cut another one of these guys because I need something on that stem. So I'm going to just trim off a little bit. That's probably too big still. This is a pretty tiny stem, so I need a little piece there so that the foam tape doesn't show. Okay, so we'll add this. And I'm going to go ahead and speed up this part of the assembly so that you don't have to watch me play around with it too much. But hopefully you will get an idea of that layout. All right, so I think I'm pretty happy with the layout as it is right now. I think I've got a few embellishments here and there, not too much. I think they look scattered and kind of fun. So there were some of the clearish blue, sky blue gems that were also left over. So what I am going to do now is I'm going to start adding those as my last embellishment on this page, and I'll probably use up the majority of these on this page here. So just trying to again add just one more level of interest to this, and highlighting these clusters a little bit more. And again, I am going to end up using all of these here as my last little embellishment. And I do have a bunch of flowers and things that are still left over. I did think I was going to put a tab up here at the top, but I decided I didn't like that, so we're not going to do that. But I think overall, I'm pretty happy with this. The only thing that I might add is I might go ahead and draw a black outline around the edge of this, just to again add some visual visual cue to move in, the eye to move inwards, I guess is the best way to explain it. But I haven't decided if I want to do that. I might try that out on a piece of paper before I do it officially on this page. So that is the first layout that I've created for the extra December 2023 paper pumpkin card pieces that I had left using the half of the card set. I do still have a bunch of cards balances or backsides left over. So as I said, I've got a bunch of the cards that I had left with both all three of the styles, and then I actually have 3 more pieces of the inserts of these where I cut out the panels because they were being overlapped, and so I have a bunch of this size as well that I'm going to be able to use on at least one more layout. I'm going to try and do at least one more layout with this. So hopefully you got some ideas with this using the cards bases, and I will see you on the next video. If you liked this one, please feel free to hit the like button. And if you would love to subscribe, or if you would like to subscribe, I would love to have you as a subscriber to my channel. Just don't forget to hit the notification button so that you can get notified when I upload a new video. And I will see you all on the next video. Have a great day, everyone.